Welcome to part 14 of our Village of Shadows run through the Resident Evil Village game. If you've been following along with our past 13 videos, you know that we finally made it to the factory. Heisenberg assured us it was not a trap. We came in prepared anyway. But so far it's not been a trap. We're going to have a long cutscene here with Heisenberg where he's going to explain an awful lot of what's going on, at least in his worldview.
What the hell? Mia?
Truth hurts, don't it? Let me guess. You're thinking, take me out like the others, and then he gets going, save Rose, right?
I'm healing my daughter.
Look, you got this all wrong. Tell me I'm talking. Shut your fucking hole! Sorry about that. Take a seat. Listen, Ethan, you're being played.
What are you talking about? You think this is a game?
I said sit! Lady, supersized bitch. Ugly ass psycho doll. An embryonic freak. Don't you get it? It's a test. To see if you're strong enough to be a part of Miranda's family.
I don't want to be a part of Miranda's family.
Neither did I, but here we are. And I'm next in line, right? Kill me, move up the chain. Well, fuck that!
I don't give a damn about your personal issues. I just want to fix my daughter.
So do I. Do you have any idea how powerful that kid is? Even Miranda's scared of her. Last time, you freak, I swear to God! You and me, Ethan. Together, we can go save Rose, and we can use her to grind Miranda into paste.
My daughter is not a weapon. Fuck you!
Last chance. You don't have to find out what's in that hole.
I'll take my chances.
You're futile.
As you may have noticed, we treat these videos as complete videos. This is a complete run. You're going to experience the entire game. That means every cutscene, every file, every treasure, every foe. We're going to show you the complete map, turn it all blue.
Damn it!
Right now we're going to run.
Shit!
You can see gameplay is in third person. That comes with having the winter expansion, winter season pass. I can't remember exactly how they called it, but the expansion DLC gives you third person play.
Damn it!
I really like the way it shifts between third person and first person as you shift into kind of cutscene areas where you're not in control. It's not in third person.
What was that thing?
Okay, so we're at the bottom of the factory. To get here, we have killed 3 of the 4 lords, as well as a big portion of the Lycan army. We started with the castle, Lady Dimitrescu and her 3 daughters. We killed them, and we found a flask. After we killed Lady Dimitrescu, we found a flask. The Duke has told us that that flask is a part of Rose's essence. In that particular case, it said head. So we had the essence of Rose's head. He also told us that the other 3 lords, all each had a part. We proceeded then to go through 2 more lords. We killed Donna and got a flask there. We found the flask in Moreau's area and then killed Moreau. And when we killed Moreau, there was a over closed circuit TV. There was a message from Heisenberg that told us where the 4th flask was, that he had left it in the stronghold, which is where the Lycan army is. If you remember back to the court that Lady Dimitrescu held, I think this was in video 3 when we were first captured by Heisenberg, and he took us to Mother Miranda. Mother Miranda and all 4 lords were there, and they bickered about who we were going to be turned over to kill. We were given to Heisenberg, and we escaped. And if you kind of, you have to squint a little bit and maybe stand on one foot, but if you can suspend your belief for a little while, you could take the approach that Miranda was actually handing us over to Heisenberg, knowing that Heisenberg would want us to escape to wreak havoc on the whole thing.
Up.
So Miranda herself may have handed us over to Heisenberg so that we would escape. And take a brief break in what I'm talking about. There's an achievement for shooting one of those things down. This isn't necessarily the easiest place or the best place to make that shot, but it's certainly not hard. It's where I got the achievement for him the first time, so I wanted to show it to you. But if Miranda gave us to Heisenberg to purposely let us escape so that we would wreak havoc on the village, on the whole social structure, if you will, of what's going on there, Heisenberg was hinting at that, saying that we were moving up the food chain, that we were basically knocking off lords so that we could take their place. Of course, we're not thinking that. We're just thinking we want these rose flasks. Well, first we were thinking we just want to survive and we're looking for Rose. Then when we find out Rose is in the flask, we just want the Rose flask so that we can the Duke has told us that we can put it back together. Even Heisenberg is saying that we can rescue Rose in some way.
Thank you for your
So
patronage.
This whole game winds up being this game of chess between Miranda and Heisenberg. Heisenberg's a very powerful mutant. He's, if you wanted to take the X-Men, the Marvel X-Men type story of the world with mutants, he's up there with Magneto. I mean, he is basically Magneto. So he's a very powerful mutant. The process of injecting mold into him and the Kadu, I think is the way he said it, into him has made him very powerful. So he's probably beginning to rival Miranda. And so there's this chess game going on between the two of them. She's thinking if she lets Ethan loose, that Ethan will kill all the lords and leave her standing alone. Heisenberg threw a wrench into the whole plan. At the end, he put his rose flask at the Lycan stronghold. If you remember at that trial or that court where Miranda and the 3 lords were, that the Lycans basically responded when Miranda said, "That's enough." And so they seem to be actually Miranda's army. Well, Heisenberg said, well, 2 can play at this game of sicking Ethan on everybody else. So he sent us into the heart of the Lycan army, if you will, and we decimated it. So we took out Urias. We took out a whole bunch of Lycans. Obviously, there are still Lycans that exist. If you played the game, you know what's coming. Chris finds a few Lycans to kill himself. So the 2 of them are maybe playing us against each other there. Heisenberg was thinking that maybe by offering to help save Rose, to actually put Rose back together, take these 4 flasks and put her essence back into a being called Rose, that would be something that Ethan would agree to. But Ethan didn't like the last part of that, where then Rose would be the weapon that they would use to kill Miranda. He doesn't want Rose used that way. So that's my theory on how the whole story is playing out to this point so far. It took me a while to get there. Probably learned as much watching my own videos as I did playing the game. A lot of times watching the video, you can listen to what's going on better than you can when you're actually in the middle of the battles. Read the subtitles. If you notice, this was a completely unexpected foe. I mean, a Panzer, I don't know how he didn't just chop me in half there, but a Panzer right in front of the casting machine. So, got through him. The stake is a powerful enough gun, it knocks the armor off of him. If you don't have a Magnum, then you need to use either a mine or a pipe bomb to get the armor off. The factory is a large place. It's roughly the size of, time-wise, it's the size of the castle. Obviously, it's a much larger footprint than the castle. I mean, it taking up a massive amount of the map overall. And it has as many floors. There's a lot to it, so it's obviously a big place. Time-wise, it winds up being about the same amount of gameplay time as the castle did. You don't wind up looping through the same areas quite as much. You do loop some here in the first part. I've broken the factory into 2 parts. This first part is down here on the bottom floor, trying to restore the power. And you see there that we're unlocking the lock. We had a lockpick from our last little part of the village just before we got to the factory. That's the only lockpick we had on us. I honestly don't know where they all went. We should have had a couple, but we only had the one, so we used it on that lock. There are 2 lockpicks that we can find inside the factory, and there are 2 locks that we can unlock. So that's half of the locks for the factory. We're still tracking the achievements, the various achievements that can take multiple plays. Cat Burglar, for one, takes multiple plays. You have to unlock 15 locks with the lockpicks. There are only 8 locks to unlock in the whole game. So you're obviously going to have to do it at least twice. As you play through, you can find 9 lockpicks. So if you find all the lockpicks and unlock all the locks in a single playthrough, you'll have 1 extra pick laying around. We should have had stacks of them. This is our 6th time through the game. However, and we started the game with 6 extra lockpicks, but we sold them. We sold 4 of them early on, so we've been having to find the lockpicks to open the doors. Here's another surprise. That's the first time there's ever been anybody other than the original Soldat that was in the chair. And it was a jet too. So now we've already seen a Panzer and a jet. That's a big difference. Village of Shadows difficulty is stepping it up. I always have a real hard time with the jets. Headshots, body shots do next to nothing. You have to hit that button. What I did find is in playing Mercenaries, the Mercenaries after games, this small game, that if you shoot them in the legs, it does a moderate amount of damage, not a little tiny bit of damage, but it's something. And if you shoot them there enough, you can cause them to stumble and kind of show the red dot to you. So you'll see me often with jets and dual Soldats and Panzer Soldats, trying to shoot their legs to get them to react so that I have an opening and an opportunity to shoot the red dot. I don't do a great job at it, so
Seems
I don't know if you'll believe me that it works. It works in Mercenaries. I don't know how. I never successfully do it very well in this regular gameplay. So I can't say that by watching this you go, oh, that's a really good strategy. The best strategy is to hit them. Make sure your shots hit them. Don't shoot the walls behind them. Headshots are quite effective on all but the jets. You can't. The headshots on the jets useless. So here's the second lockpick in the factory. Here's the second lock to pick that we don't have a lockpick for. So we'll eventually find both of the lockpicks in the factory. And we'll come back to that lock. We'll also come back to that door. That door was locked by. It had Heisenberg's seal on it. So you're thinking maybe a Heisenberg key. These Pistons are such a great little set. There are no real hard foes in here, but the concept is great. This was fun. This room was fun. The whole overall game is great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm just saying I particularly like this room. I'm going to demonstrate to you how well I can shoot and also how poorly I can shoot here. How inconsistent I shoot, I guess, is maybe the better explanation of what I demonstrate. I do like baiting them and letting the Pistons knock them. Cracks me up. Workplace area. Days since last workplace accident, 0. waiting for him to step into it, though. Yeah, it can get dull. So, I think at this point I'm just going to decide to go on. I'm nothing if not consistent. I shoot the same wrong place twice. Yay. I'm consistently inconsistent with my shooting. Sometimes I'm dead on, sometimes I'm not so dead on. I know you're thinking PC gaming. You have all the advantage. You have the precision mouse. Just point, click. Well, I'm using a gamepad, so I'm getting the console experience even though I'm playing on a PC. And my right thumb, my right and left thumbs trying to get the thing exactly where it needs to be. I seem to be on 3 shots. It takes 3 shots to get a dot to go. And five on this, so let's try not to take 15 shots at it. Please, machine gun. And at first that's working the way it used to, and then I don't know what I'm doing now. If you're gonna spray, just spray, Brian. Just hold the button down, let it go. It is such a thing. Step away, turn your back to it, look back to it. The target seems easier again. This next red dot isn't actually on the moving piston arm, it's past the piston arm, so you need to kneel down so you can get a good aim at it. I'm going to go back to the stake. I love that machine gun, and on other levels, I haven't played it on Nightmare. Casuals and standard, that machine gun's a great weapon. I didn't play Nightmare, I just skipped it and went straight to the Village of Shadows. There didn't seem to be a particular advantage to playing on Nightmare to complete a whole bunch of the exploration tracks and achievements, but there is a World's Best Dad is the achievement for completing the game on Nightmare, and then Universe's Best Dad is the achievement for completing it on Village of Shadows, which is what we're working on. But when you complete it on Village of Shadows, you get both the World's Best Dad and the Universe's Best Dad achievements. So just didn't bother to why run it. This is our 6th time through. Why run it 7 times? I like how they paint the walls that you can explode with a big X. It's like the crack in the wall wasn't enough. I mean, I grew up playing it. I don't know if you guys. This game isn't anything like the Ultima series, but I grew up playing Ultima, where you had to find the one pixel on the wall that meant it was a secret door. Here they paint big X's. This is a secret door. Throw a bomb here. Has always struck me funny. So we finally found the generator. Now it's missing a cog. So we're thinking, well, we found a mold that gave us the relief that opened the door that led us into this area. So maybe we'll find a mold for a cog. I spent a long time playing Mercenaries, and this map on Mercenaries took me a long time to get the S achievement on, or the S score on. And so I'm sometimes expecting to see foes where they're not. The Mercenary stacks the foes up more. Village of Shadows is the foes do much more damage, and they are harder to kill. But the stake levels the playing field on how hard they are to kill. There are several documents that we can find going through the factory, most of them describing Heisenberg trying to make Soldat. I assume that's how you pronounce that. S-O-L-D-A-T, Soldat. Soldiers. So by sticking us on the Lycan stronghold, we've decimated the Lycan army. Well, we've at least hurt the Lycan army. And Heisenberg's hoping to have the only army standing in the village, and that's his Soldat army. Playing on all levels. When we played it the first time, I expected all of those Soldats to wake up, or at least, you know, maybe a couple of them, and then the next time you have to walk through there, a couple more. I was absolutely convinced that on Village of Shadows they would throw a bunch of them at him. But after already showing us a Panzer and a Jet Soldat, they're now just taking this one. Of course, since I'm shooting horribly, it's going to take me a while to kill him if I can't hit him. Finally gave him to move that arm. And all else fails, just fill him with lead. It gets heavy. Okay, so we're going to mold our cog, and then we can put that in the generator, and that'll turn the power on, which will turn that button on that was early on in the game play today. As I was saying, I broke the factory into two parts. The first part is pretty much this area. This I think it's called B4, basement 4. So 4th floor of the basement, where we're trying to get the power restored and get to areas where we can start climbing up. So far we've just been kind of running around on the same floor. Put the cog in there, that turns on the power. That's going to open the areas where we'll start to climb. So towards the end of this, we're going to get to a spot where we're starting to get back to where we're making progress moving up onto new floors. There's a B4, there's a B3, and a B1. There's no B2 or
I thought we could join forces against that bitch
B5.
Miranda. Truly disappointed.
I tried to tank it there. Ethan is fully upgraded, so he has all the advantage of the meals that the Duke have fed him, but still, it hurt.
Decades of being forced to serve her. Can you even understand that humiliation? I'm not like my siblings. I want nothing more than to be free of that bitch. So I need power.
That was
I need enough power
horrible shooting.
to destroy her.
But I get lucky and catch you.
These are the fruits of my power. The strong will destroy the weak. That's the way of the world. You should have never refused me, Ethan.
What a freak.
I think Ethan just wants to get his daughter and go home. I don't know what's making that sound exactly. I'm having flashes to mercenaries, down in here. Well, I guess there's the Soldat that was making that sound. And he's a double Soldat, so he's got the button on the back. And that apparently didn't pause him. Very strange to me that didn't pause him. Those electrical grids are supposed to. Because of the pause. Of course, he doesn't have a button on his chest like the normal ones do. His is on his back. But you know, I don't know if it's because the stake as a Magnum has piercing, so it's actually going through his chest and hitting on the way out on the back right there. But shooting in the chest seems to work. So, if you remember in our last video, we found a crystal cavern where we completed the Gemologist count of 15. But so now we're up to was that 19 or 20 Ed? I was talking and didn't pay attention close enough to know the number, but we're well past what we needed for the achievement. Still just counting so that you can see how many there actually are. I don't believe we miss any of those. There's one that's in the real dark here that's hard to find, and I Had a hard time remembering which room it was in. It never fails. It's the shot that just as I'm about to leave, it causes him to go, ooh, and turn around. Exposes a button. I don't know if that circuit thing, that electricity thing there actually hurt him that time or not, because it seemed like he died maybe 1 or 2 shots early. But there is a crystal hanging on one of these walls that's hard to see, and I always had a hard time remembering which wall it was on. It's actually in the next room, but I think that's what I'm doing here is I'm looking at... I think what I was doing is I was running Ethan around and my eyes were scanning the darkness to try to see if I caught the glint of a gem. It's not in this room. I think it's in the next one. I know I was flashing in Mercenaries here where there's a Panzer that comes around the corner there, and Sturm. I don't know how to say his name. S-T-U-R-M, not S-T-R-U-M, S-T-U-R-M. But he's in this part of the map on Mercenaries as well. So I was real hesitant to come into the room because this is a room in Mercenaries I died in a lot. I walked right by a cage over here that's on my right now. For whatever reason, I tend to ignore those. I don't know. But you need to look at them. If you want to clear the map, you need to look at them because there's almost always something in them. The first time I played, I didn't realize what I could do. I didn't really expect this guy to wake up if I shot him. But I mean, there's a lot of treasure in that room. And the way you get it is you wake this guy up, he breaks that wall down. You need to either have been staying there shooting him when he came through or don't step back in the room just as he's swinging. You can tell the game was originally built for first-person play because, you know, the game built for third-person play, the camera would never get stuck in angles like that, but third person was added later on, so... But really, they did a great job. The third-person play has been wonderful. Jackie gets nauseous if we play first-person, so she can't really watch us play. She's my co-pilot, always keeping me. You're looking for this now. You're supposed to be doing this, and she's the one that usually remembers. No, there's something else in this room. There's something on the wall. She won't necessarily remember where, but she'll remember there's something on the wall. But she can't play in first person. The difference between what her eyes are telling her and what her inner ears are telling her makes her nauseous. And so we've tried different settings, even in modern games, that where you can change the camera bob, make it to where he's basically on rollerblades skating all the time, smooth. It still doesn't help. So unfortunately, Mercenaries was one of the DLCs for this that it was first person only. So I had to play that all by myself. And so she kept going, "What are you doing? What are you looking for? There's nothing else here." And I kept flashing to the mercenary maps where there was, there'd be a foe, there'd be something coming up that I'm afraid of. I don't know why I bothered to do this, but I ran back here to. If you get him to come through there, he'll open that screen for you, and then you can walk through it. But wasn't really having much. I was still putting a lot of emphasis on exploding those things on him, and he's still not seeming to do much. This is kind of a bad pinch point. You can't. Your angles are all wrong. This has been working for me, so I'll come down here and try it again. And it worked for me again. Alright. Now I'll show you where that gem is. It's hard to see. I'm going to first go open one of those cabinets that I'm always skipping by. I almost skipped it by again. It's right there. So now the room will still be red on the map. See? Still red. There, that part's still red. That's the part that... If you run back here to the stair where you come up to this, and if you look off into... Well, he's not looking in the right place anymore. To the right. To the right. You'll see a glint. Do you see it? That's why I say this room is hard to clear. Because you have to be looking at the right place to see that little glint. On some of the maps, man, those just really glow. But on this one, even when you're looking almost straight at it, the glint is just tiny. Alright, when we open this door, it's going to take us back to where the button was that was the original notification that we needed to turn power on. If you remember, it was really dark in that hallway when we found that button. Now the door opens and it's really bright, so you can push the button. The factory was really good at hiding things in plain sight. And if you remember, there was a room. We've already seen one room where there was a button to push that said it didn't have power, and there was a room that had a Heisenberg key. And so we've already encountered two rooms that we weren't able to get into. Well, now we've turned the power on, so we can get into the one that needed the power to be able to push the button. I don't know exactly what I was... Oh, I was looking to see if I had the Heisenberg key. Of course you don't have the Heisenberg key. I guess that's what I was looking for. But I can get into the room that needs you to push... that needed power so that you could push the button. If you remember, that was up here where we first... near where we first found the first mold, the relief mold. Right over there in the corner. In here, there's some interesting things to find. There's some resources, but there's also a lockpick. So now that's the 8th lockpick, 8 out of 9. Of course, somebody comes through the door about the time we get there. In this back room back here, there's an audio of Heisenberg performing a surgery on one of his...
Medical log. Revitalization surgery. This is my 18th attempt. The subject is Oscar the stable boy, 20 years old. He fell down the well while drunk. Body is in good condition. Chest incision complete. Now to remove the heart and vital organs and implant the control device. Excellent. Godot has begun adhering to the nervous system. It's progressing even faster than before. Seems upping the ratio of meta-albumin in the artificial blood was the right choice. Now to pass a current through the brainstem using 6,600 volts. Come on. It has to work this time. Yes. Yes! Wonderful! My creation! At last! I'll get that bitch yet.
So Heisenberg having his first Frankenstein moment. Created his monster, his very own monster. That sounded like it was the first time that the procedure worked for him. So now we can go back to where that button was and go into the new area. Getting close to the end of the video, walking into that area you start to make progress on moving upward instead of just running around this same B4 basement layer. We're going to face one more double Soldat. Well, right after we realized that we missed the Gemologist. Right outside the door. 22. Or I guess that was 21. That was the 21st one. Okay, so in here there's a double Soldat. We're going to fight him, and then there's another big door at the back to open up. Going to pretty much leave this battle to you to watch. And in the next video we'll open that door and find out what's on the other side of it. Start our trek up the factory. We will eventually get to the top of the factory in the next video. And, so I hope you've enjoyed this. It's been a fun video, I think. The factory is a good place. I like the castle better, but it's still a fun place. Hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you next time.